in my last fight against Jonathan Rice, I was not prepared enough. Way just prepared for 2 months for that fight, so I was not fully prepared in that fight. So just got into new contract. So, but now I'm fully prepared for playing outward this Saturday night. So I have what it takes to win that fight because so I'm very fully prepared in that fight. So I've been with Coach Kerr, training so hard to get to that fight.
And thank you, Efe. And a reminder, everybody wants to ask a question, please raise your hand in the chat queue, and you'll be able to ask a question. And unfortunately, it looks like we were sold out at the Osage Casino here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I guess absence makes the heart grow fonder because the fans in Oklahoma snapped up tickets rather quickly for this event. So now we are going to go to the questions, and we are going to kick things off with Jake Donovan from BOXINGScene.com. Jake, please go ahead.
Great. Thanks, Evan. Efe, welcome back to the ring. I wanted to ask, you said last time you didn't have a lot of time to prepare for your fight. Just how much more have you been able to grow with Kay Koroma, and what do you feel is different about this camp than going into your last fight?
Yeah, this camp is different from the old camp, So being with Coach Kerr is a good learning process, So there are some things I don't know that Coach Kerr is teaching me. Coach Kerr is teaching me a lot of stuff that I don't know, So which is good for me on my boxing foundation and my hand combination punches, So those are the things that Coach K is trying to teach me, to put everything together on me to get to the fight.
Okay, and then without giving away your game plan, how much better do you think Brian Howard matches up with you stylistically than your last fight?
I think Brian Howard is not in my, like what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is it's not in my position on that fight. So I'm going to use that fight to step out to see my performance because I got into a new contract, So I need to prove myself, So in my last fight, so I was not improving enough. So, but this Saturday night is going to be more like they want to see more of Efe Ajagba, more head movement and combination punches, So all this stuff, my footwork, I want to put everything together against him and bring our hard one.
Okay, great. Thanks, Efe. Good to have you back. Looking forward to seeing you Saturday night.
Thank you, Jake. And yes, so as I mentioned, please use the raise hand button on your feed, and we will get to questions. But before we get to another question, Efe, what do you know about Brian Howard? I think we all saw him with a big knockout over Carlos Negron relatively recently. Is his power something that you are looking in your game plan? Is his power something you are aware of and game planning against?
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything like good day to say I'm going to knock him out. So it's just I'm going to go there to do my job, to get my job done. So everything I train in the gym, I'm going to put everything in the fight. So I'm going to start with the job, my footwork, head movement. That's all.
All right. Now, and you're a guy who is knocking people out very, very quickly throughout your career. Especially we all know about your famous 1 second fight, which wasn't a knockout, but you hold the record for the victory of the shortest bout in boxing history. But how helpful was it for you and for your team to go 10 rounds against Jonathan Rice in your last fight? And can you talk about the experience of going the distance and how that helped you moving forward?
Like I said earlier before, I was not fully prepared in that fight. Just 2 months in my last fight against Jonathan Rice. So I was not fully prepared. So, I would try to do a lot of stuff, a lot of things in my head, So, but right now, I'm very 100% focused, in that fight. So against Jonathan Rice, so I was not fully prepared in that fight. So that's why I went to distance with him.
Okay, and now we're going to open up the questions to Alan Alford. Alan, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
How you doing, Mr. Ajagba? Thank you for being with us. Yes, my question to you would be, being that you're from Texas and you come from a state that's known for boxers, what does it mean to you to come from a state like Texas, you have Errol Spence, yourself, and represent Texas?
Yeah, since I came from Nigeria, so, I came to Texas. I have a lot of Africans in Texas. Okay. Like Russian stores, African Russian stores. There are some African restaurants in Texas, so which is very good for me. We have a lot of African community in Texas, so it's a good place for me to stay. So when I came from Nigeria to America, I first learned to Texas. So I've not been anywhere. I've not stayed anywhere apart from Texas.
So it feels like home for you.
Yeah, it feels like home for me. So it's like I said before, we have a lot of Africans community around us in Texas. So, it's good. It's a place for me to live because we have a lot of people, African people here, live in Texas. So, I'll be here for 3 years and 4 months.
Wow. So you're doing already well, meeting a lot of Africans. So it feels like home, good home cooking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Alan. And we will next go to the next question from Boxing Voice, John Devon Turble. I totally butchered your name, John, but please unmute, accept my apologies, and unmute yourself and ask your question when ready, sir.
You were close. We'll give you that.
I was close. I'm sure I wasn't close, but I appreciate you being nice and not making me feel so bad for butchering your name. John, please go ahead when ready, sir.
No problem. Hey, Efe, hope you're doing well. Just a quick question from me regarding your record so far. Most of your fights have come by way of knockout, so you've got a fantastic pedigree there. Do you think there is a bit more pressure with a fighter with so many knockouts so early on in his career?
It's just like I said before, the knockout. Like I'll be knocking people out in my first fight to the last fight. So I'll be fighting a lot of guys that have experience. They know some guys, some fighter who has experience. They washing my right hand because they know I have a powerful right hand. They try to avoid the right hand. So that's why everybody don't want to stay in my front to fight. They just keep running. So that's the only way they survive.
Yep. And in regards to Jonathan Rice, your last sort of outing, which was in 2019 in September. What have you been doing, keeping active and staying positive during the pandemic?
During the pandemic, I think during the pandemic I didn't fight. So so after the COVID-19, everything that's my last fight for September. That was my last fight after the COVID-19. So it's been long. So I'll be training. During the COVID-19 pandemic, I'll be training, so but not in the gym, just outside in the gym and in my apartment, neighborhood gym. That there's a gym there. You go there and do some training. So that's what I'll be doing in the COVID-19 pandemic. So I'll be training all along, So it's crazy,
Thank you, John. And we have one final question for Efe. Carlos Toro, please go ahead, ask your question when ready, sir.
Hi, Efe. Thanks so much for taking time to talk to us. Last year, obviously, because of the pandemic, you only got to fight twice, and you've been someone who's been very active prior to last year. What was the biggest takeaway that you got from those two fights last year, and what do you hope to sort of achieve this year in 2021? Is it to be a lot more active or get to a certain level of opposition? What do you hope to achieve for this year?
I think, right now I'm being in a new promotional contract, so they try to slow me down a little bit to be active, So, this Saturday night I'm going to prove myself. Everything I work on in the gym, I'm going to show it in my fight, So I'm going to stay active, to make sure I step into the big fight, So that's the only way to get to the big fight, where you stay active. That's it.
Thank you very much, Carlos, and thank you, Efe. Our apologies for the technical difficulties. Is there anything you would like to say to the fans out there as you approach Saturday night?
Yeah, I just want my fans to wish me good luck in my fight, because I train for this fight. I train so hard for this fight, you know. So